Hello guys, this is GRTV. I want to describe some things that I feel the government must do. And in fact, it's a trick question or a trick concept, if you will, in that it's really what the people must do. You know, it's our tax dollars, and we can't expect, potentially corrupt people, and whether it's the government or healthcare or judicial or any, doctors, attorneys, any system. Maybe they're impositioned, maybe they're compromised, maybe they don't have, they don't have an opportunity for whatever reason to be of truth and to be, shall we say, more efficient or more honest. So I want to propose a series of ideas that, if nothing else, at least people could be polled upon. I may end up creating a poll, and furthermore, what they would vote on, and then surrounding legislation and laws that would enforce these opinions, if you will, of the people. And their opinions in the sense that it's how the people want their money spent. It's what they think is best for society. And I'll preface what I'm saying here by suggesting that when you believe in reincarnation, there's a different view of life itself. And I'll start off with a more controversial one. I feel like the government should have more laws pertaining to people being humanely executed, be they child molesters or people who are just mentally irretrievable. They're criminally insane. They're people who society would be better off with, and instead of using tax dollars to imprison them, which is also a danger of the privatization of prisons and other big government extents, and also the idea of releasing prisoners, but they have a record. Like, if they have a record, it's harder to get employment, and that's one of the causes for their, I think it's something like it's very significant. It's over 50% of repeat rate, where over 50% of people go back to prison. And so, in order to improve that, we need to create more suitable. I mean, this is stuff that you're aware of, but there's also other things like the idea of the government not acknowledging, and of course it's for the people to do this. It's for the people to take the initiative, but nonetheless, it would be nice to have more trust in the government. Things like, number two, the government acknowledging that there were special interest forces that created 9/11. That was an insider a job, and the government felt in position to do anything about it. And there's it like becomes a question of, there are good and bad people everywhere, and including in the government, and including in wherever there are like people involved with these corporate, what do they call it, lobbyists, and all of that. And that it's an imperfect system, but we should, as an American people, have the affordability to have a corruption-free government. You know what I mean? We should be able to afford that and not have to have these, how do you say they're specialty groups, you know, whatever, special interests, all this craziness, and all these people who are trying to make a career out of being a politician, when it should be just, I think, a temporary volunteerism, especially for the highest positions. You know, I'm not saying that all the secretaries and all the people who do the details should be volunteers, or like the security and you know, the White House staff, whatever. But I'm saying the top people. So number one is to allow for more humane executions, so people can go into their next incarnation and the world would be better off without them, and they'll incarnate into a better world. Furthermore, things like 9/11, like the extraterrestrials not being recognized, like what else? Just different things like marijuana being made illegal, and there's another general concern about this whole idea of, you know, fight for America, die for America, or whatever country it may so happen to be. The danger of that is that it's, instead of fighting for freedom, quote unquote, which is great, you know, you're fighting, and why would we use our tax dollars to fight for people's freedoms or to promote democracy beyond America when we still need to, you know, improve America? When, you know, you don't help other people until your quote unquote family or whatever it is are you know, are doing well. So that's the argument I'm making there. And yeah, thanks for delving into my personal opinions. You know, there's these are kind of, whether you want to say they're controversial or unorthodox or whatnot views, they are, you know, they are opinions to make the country better, and just have an awareness that this idea of make America, or what do you, that you know, die for America, it's too generic of a concept, because America can be a good or a bad thing. It can be capitalist greed, or it can be you know, freedoms of just being able to live and, you know, be an individual capitalist, do have your own business. So there's, you know, it's a complex situation, but fortunately we're moving into a world where more people are, for example, learning English or other languages, and they're cross-cultural, cross-ethnic, everything, you know, all of that. So we're moving into a world where, even though I think it's useful to have boundaries and different currencies and different you know, separations of countries, different borders, it's useful because it deconcentrates power instead of having a one power. But the point being that we want to make the government more so a democracy of the people. Like, for example, maybe jurors could be maybe it could be like 100 people, and if the vote's really close, then they could make it 200 people, and they could vote on different situations. But with the internet, you know, we're being more readily able to have information out there, and the opportunity for people to vote on more specific things than just trying to vote a certain person into office. And you know, that's where I'm going. I'm going to, like, if you look at the extremes, that's when you look at the extremes, it's easier to see things, you know. Like for example, you look at the extreme of a kingdom versus a democracy. In a kingdom, everyone's expecting the government or the ruling family, if you will, to take care of things, and they blame that family for things that go wrong. But there's only so many things that one group of, you know, family or whatever person can do. And so to leave your power, the power in that, it's just I think it's a risky venture to give that much power to concentrated, but you decentralize power, and smarter people, more responsible people make for a better world. It's the opposite of the family hierarchy, the governmental hierarchy, the company hierarchy, and entrance into where everyone's intelligent, everyone's qualified to make decisions and support their own selves financially and emotionally, and they're able to also uh, figure things out, whether it's legal or they're qualified to figure things out and figure out and investigate and want to promote positive things, like do reach out to other countries and citizens of other countries and be friendly to tourists, that type of thing. But thanks for joining me here, and I will see you next time. I really feel like these clearing this out will bring more, and it's not really about trust in government. It's just about people being able to trust themselves and the society being able to function more efficiently, and people being more excited about how their tax dollars are spent. So thanks for joining me, and aloha.